They're a local sensation coming all the way from Nashville. We are talking to Nik and Sam right after this on The Spotlight.
'Cause my bones, they don't wanna lay down 'neath no Joshua trees. My spirit don't wanna up and wander down some Mexico beach. I don't wanna be pushing up daisies as snow falls in the northeast. I wanna rise from the ground to my Jesus from the black dirt in Tennessee.
From the beautiful Olathe building in downtown Russellville, we welcome you into the Spotlight on this Friday, a gorgeous Friday at that. If you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today. It's 479-968-5668 or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. By the way, music downtown at sundown presented by Main Street Russellville is tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock. Ryan Harmon will head things up. We had him on yesterday. Make sure to go back and check out that interview. But the headline act is with us today. It is Nik and Sam. The local sensations are here. We finally got you on the show, ladies. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
I'm fascinated by a lot of your story because, you don't hear a lot about folks from this area going to Nashville and having some success. And yet you have not only done that, but there are several members within your circle that have also done that. Kind of walk me through what that has been like over the last couple of years as you ascend in the Nashville scene.
I mean, I would say it's just been really motivating to see like the time and the hard work that we're putting in. It's always been a dream of ours to obviously, pursue our music. So as we've just continued this journey, seeing that, we're building momentum and all that, and it's just been really, honestly, really, really cool. Yeah. So, we're doing what we love. But Nashville's Nashville's a place to be. It's cool that we're around that all the time, you know, and it's just been...
It's very inspiring, too. And, we should keep going. It's been a good journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God we have each other, though.
Yeah. There's ups and downs. But, yes.
Well,
so.
walk me through that transition a little bit.
Okay.
Because I cannot relate to your story at all. But I remember moving from Russellville journalism to Little Rock and then Dallas journalism. That was different. It was big. It was a big shift. When you get to Nashville, you've been local this entire time. You've been playing smaller shows. Now all of a sudden you're playing bigger shows. Yeah. Was it intimidating at first?
I would say for sure, because you're kind of, you're
right in the middle of all the professional, just like
and obviously like you're a big fish in a small pond, and then you move to Nashville, and then you all of a sudden you're the small fish in the big pond. Yeah. So, and you either take that and you go, oh, I don't like this, or you take that and you use it as motivation. So it's really it was really interesting as we started getting gigs and just being around other really talented artists and stuff like that.
You eventually adjust. And
I think you got to give yourself time. And you got to kind of, you just kind of adjust. And as you start working, you kind of build that, momentum.
And start meeting people, and just get together, doing, co-writing songs together, playing, music together. You just kind of start,
honestly, it's like
a
schooling. To me, it's kind of almost like it's like a crash course a little bit. So. And you adjust. We kind of had to do it, you know. And it's rewarding. It's hard, but it's rewarding. It's also, I love it, but it's.
I don't regret it.
I know, right? And so, I would say, now we're playing shows. All over the place in Nashville, and what would you say? It's just.
I don't know. Just. Gotta stay motivated.
Yeah, you kind of gotta stick with it. I would say, you gotta kind of definitely still with it and all that. So
you say stay motivated, and then you say stick with it. Let's hit on that a little bit more. How do you do that?
Well, you got to kind of remember why you started in the first place. Yeah. I do think that we both have each other. So anytime we kind of feel like we're hitting
a wall
or something like that, there's always this other one that we're always bouncing off each other. Yeah. So we are really fortunate to kind of play off of each other. Yeah. So I would say that's really how we just kind of keep going. But ultimately, I would say that, like I said, we love what we do. I wouldn't be doing anything else. Yeah. So, it's not gonna just be, success is not just straight up, so
It's not easy.
it's you just got to be, determined, and I think that we
and we all have our ups and downs,
yeah.
but we just
Yeah.
gotta
but
have that inner motivation, I think,
yeah.
and just be able to.
And there's we definitely complement each other as well. Like there's things that I'm good at, and I will take over, and there's things that she's good at, and she takes
take
over. So then in that case,
Kinda-
we kind of complement each other
in that way
a little bit. So anytime, we got to pick another up, or I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this. We just still kind of
Come
work. We
together.
work pretty well as
Yeah.
a team, and we can just kind of plow through. So
together.
yeah.
Is that part of the twin magic side of things, or is that just chemistry overall?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's a twin thing, but it's also, I don't know. I mean, I would say it's probably
A twin
thing.
or like a sibling. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
if you have like a close sibling, you're in. I mean, you probably can play off each other, but I definitely think that we are in sync, and we're on kind of a totally different
wavelength. Yeah.
wavelength. Even when we're practicing with a band, other people or
Yeah.
whatever it is, we just already know where we're at. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have to speak.
Right.
And so sometimes we have to remember, ooh, we're twins. We need
gotta
to communicate that. We need
to
to
other
verbalize
people,
that
yeah.
and go, hey, we're feeling this. And so even our own rhythms, we have our own rhythm together.
We're just
so
in
sometimes,
sync. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It freaks me out, but
I
it's
know,
twin
I
thing,
know.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really the best situation, but
Yeah.
sometimes for people around us, it's like,
You're like, what are y'all
it can
doing?
be challenging.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, I don't understand. What are y'all thinking? I'm like,
You just
little-
use ESP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you give us the memo?
Yeah.
We didn't get the memo. They
Yeah.
all are I need an extra break.
yeah.
What, you just feel it?
Yeah, so it's interesting, yeah.
I want to know about the first gig you played in Nashville, and I want to know about
first
the 30 minutes or so before you got on stage there.
Okay, we were
First
playing.
gig.
Well, the first gig we did was, I think, was the 12th. Was it 12th and Porter?
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
and
I was
Jeremy.
so nervous.
Jeremy was Jeremy played with us.
Jeremy Huddleston.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lives here.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Nashville.
Superstar.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, superstar.
He was our
Superstar.
drummer growing up here in
So
town.
talented,
So
yeah.
he came down and played with us in Nashville at 12th and Porter.
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I mean, you're
Yeah.
playing. You've been there for a minute, and you're playing for your peers.
Yeah, and all the Nashville people.
We're
I think all I remember was such a blur. I think I was just so jittery and just so nervous and just wanted to plow through it.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what I came here to do. I had to psych.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
had
come on.
to psych myself up.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
come
was
on, get with it. Yeah.
Come on, get it together. Get it together.
Yeah.
But
But we eventually.
But it's once you get on stage and the adrenaline kicks in,
Yeah.
and you're like, it makes sense.
Yeah,
This is why
I do this. I love it.
Why...
It usually hits about the third song for me.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
okay, I'm good. Let's go. It's
The first song you blow through,
Yeah.
and the second song you're
I don't know.
okay, now I'm starting to calm down. Third
The
song,
song's
you're
I got it.
I got this now. Sam has now entered the building. Nikki has too. Now we're good.
This is why we do this.
So what you're saying to the people out there is about 10 minutes before you're supposed to go on, everybody go to the food trucks, get there by the third song, and we're in good shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So have a beer, whatever.
Yeah.
This was not always what you did. You had to grow up at some point. You had to have a childhood.
Mhm.
But in talking to you before the show started,
Yeah.
your childhood did not look like everyone else's childhood. Kind
No.
of walk me through that a little bit. And by the way, I don't mean that in a negative connotation.
No, I don't.
Richard Setian's on the show next week. It's all good, but it's
But,
different. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
I
see.
mean,
We started playing music when we were 10, and then we really kind of started. I would say. I mean, we.
And we went to Dover Middle School, Dover
school.
High School,
And then as we started realizing we're going to pursue this,
well, we were also
um,
traveling a lot
yes,
with music, going a lot to New York, California, Nashville, and so I mean around high school I'd say is when we were really traveling a lot more, and we just eventually had to 10th grade, get homeschooled.
yeah, they had to pull us out.
They had to
and
pull
we
us
homeschool
out.
us. I mean, I think that once we realized this is what we're going to do,
Yeah.
this is what we're going to pursue, it just kind of made sense. It was a little different because you're in public school, you're around people, and then you get pulled out, and then you're homeschooling, and every day it was
We're just in our pajamas.
we're in our pajamas, and it's just you're just kind of at the house, just homeschooling. But
yeah,
which was kind of cool. But then you're I mean, you're
Where's
just
the people?
yeah, I know.
So-
It's it's a different feeling, but I think that we appreciated it because
allowed us to really pursue.
It allowed us to really, really maximize our opportunities there, to be able to travel. And we had so much going on, and it wasn't normal like at all. But it I don't know. I feel like we were also so young, and like we just wanted to play music. So whatever allowed us to just
play music,
almost to the point where it was just we were almost like naive about it. Like we just wanted to play music.
Yeah.
So pull us out of school, do whatever. We know is just how to play music, And so I think that we just. I can't even. It was really like all a blur. But I think
it was so long
I didn't even like. I don't think I even fathomed it really. We just
did it
homeschooled, and then we were
made it work.
We were just already off traveling, just doing what we love to do, and it just
kind of just worked out. And now, of course, we have very supportive parents. That always helps.
Right.
So we do. We're really fortunate.
They've been the best.
So
helped us along this whole journey. So.
But even in that, are there things about the normalcy of childhood that maybe you miss, or you thought you missed out on, or?
I would say, when we homeschooled,
we went to.
So we missed the. No, we
went to 2 proms.
We went to 2 proms.
We were still we still had a social life. I
forgot about that, dude.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. No, we're good.
You caught the important part, folks.
Oh my gosh.
It's cool to get homeschooled as long as you hit the prom.
It's all matters. We went to 2. Yes. But oh my gosh, I'm trying to think.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It's like we just got so used to homeschooling and traveling a lot that I didn't even think really twice about really what. But
I don't know. We were practicing all the time too. So we did. We missed out like on. I wouldn't say missed out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we missed out. We probably didn't like hang out like the.
We didn't have like what you do, like the sleepovers, going to the movies with friends.
We probably didn't do that.
And we didn't do like any of that. We typically were like rehearsing. I guess it would be like equivalent to like if we were in a sport and you had to, just practice all the time. But I just remember it was just rehearsal like all the time.
Yeah.
So it was weird that we went to 2 different proms, but other than that though, we just pretty much practiced all the time. And I think it was one of those things like if we're gonna do this, we just need to
do it.
Do it and go for it. So we really, we probably didn't.
But also remember, because we have each other, it's like we're always just like, chatting within each other. So it's like I really didn't seem like I needed like other friends.
We don't ever like feel like we need like a social group or anything, because we have.
And we live together, work together. Talk about everything. We're like to our,
Yeah, I know we do everything together. Yeah.
So. That's enough for me.
I know. I'm like, honestly, like I could be alone. Like I need some time.
I need some alone time.
If anything, I need some alone time.
It's not enough that I already know what you're thinking.
Like, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So there was never anything other than music for you two. Like when you were before 10, before you started playing music, was there something else that you aspired to?
Yeah. We grew up around horses, going to the chuck wagon races every year.
And competing in the
and then when we were about 7 or 8, we started riding, and then we started getting into that field as far as competing
in barrels and poles with our horses,
and all that. And that's actually what we originally thought we were going to do.
Yeah.
Until we picked up music, and then riding horses. We had to choose between
on the weekends.
On the weekends, we're going to do rodeo or we're going to do a gig. But we were pretty heavy into riding for a few years, and then you start falling, you start breaking your arm.
Yeah.
And then you're like, can I still play the band? Yeah.
Thinking like this, I gotta choose. We need to retire.
I gotta choose. So we had to kind of retire that.
Yeah. But I definitely miss doing that. Like even to this day, I had a lot of fun in the rodeo circuit. I just loved riding horses and competing, and it just was fun.
Yeah.
I do not. When I was growing up, my family raised rodeo stock.
Oh.
So it was our job to take the wildest, most ridiculous bulls and horses, and I had to ride them to make sure they were crazy enough.
Oh my gosh.
And as I was a senior in high school trying to map out my career path, I'm thinking, I'm going to do anything that is farther away than getting stepped on by a 2,000-pound animal. Because after you get kicked, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 times, you're about done with it.
Yeah.
So while I empathize with the love of rodeo, because I still love it, I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to do that again.
I'm done. That wasn't for me.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
That's all I needed. We are talking to Nik and Sam. They are performing at Downtown at sundown tomorrow night, starting at 7 o'clock with Ryan Harmon. Hey, found out that we've got a special treat. They're going to perform right here on the Spotlight coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you're in the market to buy or sell your home, give us a call today, 479-968-5668, or cruise on over to russellvilleliving.com. And coming up next week, their dad's on the show, Richard Setti, and we're going to have a conversation with him. Apparently, it's going to be about behind the music or something like that, so you do not want to miss that. That's coming up next week. You know, and by the way, too, shout out, Danielle Hausnick is in the studio. She's making her, 17th appearance on the show, but she's actually not here. She's not in front of the camera, but she's behind the camera operating. So, hi, Danielle. You can see her tomorrow night. Yeah, there she is.
Hi, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you can see her tomorrow night, too, at Downtown at sundown. Talk to me a little bit about where your music comes from. I don't necessarily, everybody asks, well, hey, why do you write what you write? Or I want to know where that comes from. What's your process?
Ooh,
what's our process?
We kind of grew up, listening to, like I would say classic rock. All I ever played was like
Queen, Ozzy Osbourne, all that stuff.
The Eagles, all that. So it's kind of funny that we that I picked up the banjo. But
well, I think it was our first concert we went to.
Yeah.
We saw the Chicks, and Sam saw Emily Robertson on the banjo, and then she was like, I gotta play banjo.
Yeah, because I kind of want to be different, but I don't know. I kind of feel like where it comes from as far as the material that we produce. I don't know. I just feel like with kind of what we've experienced in the past, and
it's just kind of gritty.
It's kind of gritty. Like
rootsy.
I feel like
how we're from Arkansas, kind of rootsy.
Yeah.
We like to keep like that. Kind of rocking too, because obviously, we always had, the rock records that Dad had around the house, and then, eventually kind of got into the, bluegrass a little bit as well.
With
so
the roots being like a little bluegrassy, and then
I don't know. It's like a little bit. I feel like it's like a little bit of everything that we. Like as far as music wise,
kind of accumulated these different kind of
and put it all in one bottle.
Put it in one, a little bit.
That's the way we sound.
But as far as writing,
and
stuff like that, I would say, it's just kind of like I think we go through phases. Sometimes you're gonna want to for a year if you're like kind of feeling a certain way, you're gonna write that way. Then sometimes we're like, well, we've been kind of happy, so let's just write like just stuff that's just fun, you know. And then
but always keep our touch to it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So that's a really good question.
It is. I'm like, but not answering it. Right?
No. I don't.
Look, I need to go think about that.
I don't know. I just feel like it comes from like just what we're going through
and what we're feeling to that day. It's like we can have a writing session every day or go write music, and it's like it just depends on how I'm feeling that day, my mood, my emotions, what we're going through.
But like like phases, you know what I'm saying? Because like I don't ever like to go into some place and like categorize, like be in a box, like well, we're exactly this sound. We make sure we write like this and about this.
Yeah, so I think it just sounds good.
It kind of flows.
It just sounds good.
I just whatever's flowing at the time. But
yeah,
I think that this has definitely been like a journey.
We've evolved a lot more.
We've evolved as, people, as artists. So I definitely think there's like a little grit in there just from like what we've like been through. And then with the banjo and like kind of our background, it's just kind of like a rootsy, I would say like a little bit of like
rootsy but rockin'.
Yeah. So
that kind of answers it.
Yeah, no, kind of. I think we kind of answered that.
But kind of didn't.
We didn't. Yeah, we kind of answered that, but didn't.
Well, I'm going to follow up.
I'm like thinking in
I'll bring to mind. I'll bring Taylor Swift as an example, in that she's famously on record for saying that if there's been a breakup, she's going. That's how. Stereotypically, that's how she's made her living. I don't think that that's fair, but that's that's kind of. Is there something specific that happens in your reality that is almost always a spark for inspiration?
Yeah, I think just not giving up really, because I feel like especially being in Nashville, we've done everything. I don't know, how would you explain it?
We've been there for
a good minute.
A good minute for a second. So it's like I just think that like when we write, we're always kind of in the mindset of we're just in this hustle and we don't want to give up,
Even
and
when
we're
people
not,
do say no or shut the doors on our faces, like we're still
going to keep
plowing
going through.
Yeah, and so I think we always like to have some sort of like positivity in our songs that we write. Maybe not, as far as
I mean, there's an occasional like write about a guy. You know what I'm saying? And like break down,
of course,
break out. But I'm
Right.
like I'm kind of more about like positive image and just I want to kind of, or we're writing a song like kind of in your face, like we're here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
and
we're not giving up. We're not gonna turn around. And so I think right now that's kind of like
where
we're at.
Yeah.
So yeah. And it just also depends on who you're writing with. Sometimes, co-writes are like blind dates. It's like, unless you've written with them a handful of times, if you're meeting somebody for the first time,
it's like
it typically goes well, but, like I said, it's like a blind date. It's
so
like,
it doesn't.
the chemistry can be kind of off, and you're like, hey, let's just write the song and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're vibing and the chemistry is there, then you really get to kind of tap into that sweet spot
with that person
and create something that you intentionally wanted to create. So it just kind of depends,
varies,
really.
I think.
Yeah. For sure.
This is going to sound kind of like a novice question, but I'm curious about that. How does a co-write get scheduled? Does somebody put you with somebody else and they say, hey, maybe you guys should collab, or what does that process look like?
Yeah,
it goes both ways. You can have someone who puts it together for you, like maybe a guy who's over at a publishing company, that you're working with. He can put you together with it, or you just do it on your own. We've been in Nashville for a while now, so just by being in that town, we've made connections and networked.
Honestly, we get a lot of our rights when we're playing live.
Out.
So when we're playing live, like the last couple gigs we've had, people will be like, oh, I really love your stuff. Like, I want to like write with you. And we're like, sure, of course. And so it's a town where it's never ending.
It's like wildfire
with just like opportunities. So whether you're out playing live music, live shows, or you're out just networking, and there's always events going on. I don't, no matter what day of the week it is. So
that's probably how we get our rights right now.
We're constantly like out there, putting ourselves out there. Live shows out there, just at the next event or whatever it is. We're going to friends, people that we know in their shows, and if you want, the way I see it is, if you want to do something, go out there and just get it.
Well, you have to create opportunity for yourself.
You have to. Go to a show that you see, advertised, go, and then wait till after the show and go, hey, I really loved your stuff. I would love to write if you're taking, rights at this moment. So just, we kind of go get after it.
I asked Rob McCormick about this. I asked Ryan Harmon about this, and I'm going to ask you guys about this. Outside looking in, I think it's really easy for people to not see the big picture of what it takes to be a musician from top to bottom. You know that there's got to be songwriting. You know that there's got to be rehearsal. But there's an entire business into this that really gets overlooked. Walk me through navigating that side of it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, you're talking about, I think that's what's so hard for artists sometimes, because you're when you're on your own, you're in this creative mindset all the time. So then sometimes we can lose sight of the business side of things. So right now,
we're wearing like 12 different hats.
We wear 12 different, I would say we do almost like everything besides songwriting and booking shows.
Creating.
We're calling places to get booked. We're
recording,
creating meetings, recording, just constantly putting ourselves out there. So, it is a lot.
It's 24/7. It's like, you better really love it. Love what you do, because it's definitely 24/7. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I would say like when we first started out, like we were just always about the music, play the music. Yeah. But like since we moved to Nashville, you have to pretty much develop like overnight as far as like the business side of things, because to me, you can play music, but if you don't have a plan, you can't attack, you know what I'm saying? And you can't, there are certain things that you will be held back if you don't understand, a little bit of it all,
and that's if you don't have like a label behind you. Right now we're doing it on our own.
Yeah, but you don't really have to if you know how to, you know what I'm saying? If you know how to navigate through the business side of things. You can do everything on your own, but I think that right now we've been there long enough that we have
the experience. We
have
the producer we go to and record, and then we know, you know what I'm saying, like we're constantly writing songs where, you know, we have different, you know, connections that can help us with booking gigs and all this stuff, but it's just a constant grind and check mark, you know, having a list. We literally have a whiteboard at home, and it's like, did we do this today? Did we do that, you know, yesterday? And it's just, it's the creative side, and then it's the business side. And we're going down that checklist. So
Ryan mentioned something yesterday, and I wanted to ask you guys about it too. You know, when he did the one spot on American Idol, and when the producers called him and told him when it was going to air, he had a brand new website roll out the same week. He had a single hit that same week. There was a marketing plan behind this one particular spot. So tell me, is there, I mean, aside from the creative part of you from the music side, is there a specific marketing strategy that you have in your mind of, hey, this is where we need to go to get to A, B, C, D, and E?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like what we're actually kind of in the process of developing, like a marketing strategy. You know, because obviously, like when we put out a song, you don't want to just put it out. You want to have all this promotion and marketing behind it, so that you can develop all these streams, and it kind of falls into an algorithm so that you can get curated on Spotify.
I mean, I'm still even learning about how that works.
So I think also a lot of our time is spent on just research, because that's the thing, is that we're going to continue putting out singles, but we don't just want to put them out in the wind and just let them just, you know, we need that, you know, marketing behind them. So yes, I mean, the marketing strategy is huge behind anything that you put out. So yeah, I mean, right now we're planning on doing that, and that is, I mean, we're doing it on our own, but that's kind of the process that we're kind of in right now. So
what does it mean to you to come back home and play a show like this one?
Well, I mean, to me, coming back home, it really...
no, I mean, I love it, because all the support that pretty much everyone, you know, in this town, they've given us so much support over the years, and it's like the best. I mean,
I think it reminds us like why we started. It reminds us like why we love what we do. So it's just, it's such a great feeling, and it's so inspiring. So sometimes if you are working away, we're in Nashville, we're just like in this constant grind, and you kind of lose, you know, you can lose sight or whatever it is, and you come back home, and it's like you have all this support. And you're like, this is exactly why
I do this. It's like, it's just pretty amazing.
It's an amazing feeling.
I love it.
All right, we are talking to Nik and Sam. They are performing tomorrow night at downtown at sundown. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. Ryan Hartman starts at 7 o'clock, and then, of course, we have Nik and Sam. Ladies, before we cut to a break and get you guys performing, I would like to know something that nobody knows about you. Can you tell something that the city of Russellville may not know about you?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. What? Like good or bad?
Yeah.
It could be anything. What about a weird fear? Is there a weird fear that you have? A weird quirk? What's something that somebody may not know about you?
I mean, like, you're like really OCD.
Really? You're going to bring that one up? Out of all the things to bring up, you're going to bring that one up?
That's why we asked the question, folks.
I'm around it every day. See, I can't even think about it, because, I mean,
you're probably pretty OCD.
It helps me. I think I'm over the top organized, so I think it helps me.
Like I'm not. Like, I mean, I'm not organized, but not like as extreme as you.
So I do the laundry. And I do the dishes.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's nice.
Yep. Because nobody... Don't take it for granted. I know, right?
That really works out for me. This is good.
We're going to break up. No, it's okay, no. No, I'm probably like super... I am very OCD.
What about me? I'm trying to think.
I don't know. You just sit there and watch me do
the
laundry.
I'm just, like...
No, I don't know. With you, I'm not sure.
You don't know? It's your turn now, because you can...
No, why did you... I was trying to think of me, and then you answered for me.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to think of you.
I don't know. I can be kind of an introvert sometimes.
Introvert
a little bit. But that's not really like a weird, or like a... So, you know.
But there's a lot of creative types that go into introvert. I mean, do you find yourself being more introverted post-show?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Like, I'm like...
Like, a lot of times, like, I feel like before a show... I will get really quiet.
We're both pretty introverted,
and,
actually.
and in my own zone, which to the point where I'm like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm being a certain way, but I almost get like really
It's just quiet,
quiet and like zoned
you
out.
think everything out.
And then
Focused.
and then we can kind of, you're like charged up, ready to go for a show.
Ready to go. Oh,
so
yeah.
I mean, I would say that we're probably pretty. How about this? We're probably pretty quiet people.
Doesn't seem like
Doesn't seem like it. No, I know it doesn't.
That
seem
really
like
came
it.
across here today. We've really shown that side.
There you go. That was a good one. They're not gonna believe that. Like Russellville's not gonna believe that. Looking like no.
These are the two quietest, most introverted people you've met right here.
It's so weird.
It's so
I guess
weird,
maybe
though.
we're back at home, like in Nashville. We're just like, I
I feel like we're super introverted.
we are.
I mean, so I've seen this before, where there are those people who, once you put everything out there,
Yes.
and you have, quote unquote, peopled
Yeah.
as much as you do, when you get to a certain spot, you're like, no, I'm good.
No, yeah.
I don't want to speak to you or anybody for like a day.
Yeah.
Is that-
I would say
Exactly.
it's like that. Yeah, because like some people can play a live show, they can do all this stuff, and they thrive around people 24/7.
Which is so great. Yeah.
We can be like this, but then behind the scenes, I need to be recharging. I'm like a battery. I'm just like
if,
and once I'm like had a certain
or like
level,
say we're
I'm
in
like,
Nashville, have meetings, gigs, whatever it is, then it's like okay,
put it all out there, but then we're like, okay, I
Okay,
need like a
need
day or
to-
two to just kind of
chill
chill.
and recharge.
We are really. I know it's kind of weird. We are like kind of
It's
quiet
like-
people.
It's like 50-50.
Yeah, like I could be like reading a book somewhere, just like hold
Quiet.
up. Hmm
What do you read?
I love anything with health. I mean, I love like David Sinclair. Why we engage and why we don't have to. Anything like that along the lines of that. So I am kind of a nerd in that kind of
Yeah,
area.
you are a nerd.
So maybe I'm a nerd. There we go. There's another one revealing.
Oh, she's a nerd. Yeah.
I'm a nerd with a capital N.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here, Sam is an introverted nerd. That's what we've got
With a
out
little
of this.
OCD. I'm a keeper.
Yeah, she's a keeper. Yeah, like to see that.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Ladies, what can we expect for tomorrow night?
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man, well we are bringing a few new songs to the table. So and we will be playing our single tomorrow night as well. So
yeah,
we're excited.
to be back with the band.
Yeah.
with Jeremy and Jacoby.
Yeah,
And,
it's gonna be fun.
and it's gonna be a blast. So we're just excited to be here and
ready to rock and roll.
ready to rock and roll.
Outstanding. All right, cool. Folks, that's Nick and Sam. Hey, thank y'all so much for being here. This
Thank
has
you for
been
having us. I
fun.
know, it was a good time.
Next time you're in town, we got to do this again.
Yeah, I know.
As you, the introverts that you
I know,
are.
right? I know. Does that make sense?
All right, coming up after this break, Nick and Sam perform here for us on the Spotlight. Don't go anywhere.
I didn't throw out my red dress because you came along. I didn't forget how to shake it out in the club till the break of dawn. No, someone tells me you've been sneaking, doing things you shouldn't do. And that boy, you can cheat. I got news for you, yeah. I can be bad if you want it. I can play dirty, baby, just like you. Yeah, I'm a girl, but you best believe there's side of me that you ain't seen. I could be bad if you want me to. You making lame excuses. You've been working way too late. You've been coming home smelling like I want to York. It's no, don't feel the same. Oh, you got one more chance to explain it. It's the last you're gonna get. And if you're lying, trust me, honey. You ain't seen crazy yet. I can be bad if you want me to. I can play dirty, baby, just like you. Yeah, I'm a good girl, but you best believe there's a side of me that you ain't seen. I can be bad if you want me to. but you best believe it was not